Good morning. We're live. And I just kind of want to warn everybody we're having a blizzard here. The snow is coming down in torrents and the wind is going crazy. The whole UP is shut down today. So hopefully this will not affect our broadcast. But if you lose me, you'll know why. Okay. Hi, Carla's here from Oklahoma City and Cactus Deb. Last time before daylight savings times at 6 a.m. So only for me. Oh, Deb, I'm honored. Thank you. Good morning, Deanna. And Ronnie is here from a chilly Arizona, 23 degrees. You know what, Ronnie? It's warmer here than it is where you are right now. Joyce, good morning. And Joyce is from Mesa. I'm sure it's not quite as cool in Mesa as it is in northeastern Arizona this morning. Linda, my Michigander buddy, good morning. I'm glad you are not getting all of this weather that we're getting. It looks like you guys are just getting some rain this morning. Linda, good morning, my friend from New York. And Susie is here from Arlington, Virginia. Uh, Joyce said it's not that cold, but it's 41 degrees, so it's chilly for her. It sure is. And Ann is here telling us it's sunny in the neighborhood. Yay, Ann, I'm happy for you. Carla says she thinks the wind is whipping from border to border, and that is so true. Aaron is here today from Ohio and just has rain. That's what we had yesterday and last night. It was insane. We have had so much precipitation in the last 24 hours, but that's okay because we really need it. So this morning, what we're going to do is we are going to start our journey with the Starry Night Stars. Okay, I want to introduce you to the stars, and this is our star one, which is a 5 point star. And when I look at it, it reminds me of a little man. Here's his head, here's his arms, and here's his feet. This one, I believe, is the easiest one to stitch, but it's the first one I started with too. So that may be why. And there is a trick to stitching these out, and I'm going to share that with you today. So here is star number two. And star number two has got 7 points to it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It looks beautiful. It feels like the center's just a little bit bigger on this one, and again, I really like this one. And what I'm doing is I'm using all the 2.5 inch stars this morning. And on the 2.5 inch, what you're going to notice is there is a beautiful ruler on the side too. So we get double duty out of this. Star number three, I call the skinny boy. Again, he's got the head, arms, and legs, but you see how compressed he is? Um, I wish I looked that skinny. That would be great. Let's see. Oh my goodness, we got a lot of people coming on. Portia, good morning. Having a blizzard in Iowa. Yep, we're having one here in the Upper Peninsula, Michigan too. Portia, stay home, stay safe. I called this perfect quilting weather. Kathleen, good morning, and thank you so much. Kathleen says she hopes everyone is in good health and happy spirits. We appreciate that, and we hope you are too, Kathleen. Thank you. Marcy's here from Spring, Texas. And Lisa has made it from sunny Sugarland, Texas. Nan is here from Sweden. Good morning, Nan. I hope you guys aren't going to be getting this weather in a couple of days. It's horrible. Lee, good morning from Indiana. So good to see you. And Wanda, my friend from across town, good morning. Don't go out today. I probably don't have to tell you that though, right? Monica's here from Durand, Illinois. Okay. So Nan says you'll use the stars. Good idea for me. That's sewing on a quilt. Awesome. Awesome. Here is our star number 4. And star number 4 again has 7 points, but they're nice and even, and it's really kind of a beautifully rounded star on the outside. Star 5 has 6 points to it, and it's nice and gentle. It's just a pretty, gentle, easygoing star. I know I'm giving personalities to these stars, but to me, they have their own personalities, and that's what makes them so much fun. Good morning, April. April Scott is here from Rainy, Ohio, and Kathleen is here from Katy, Texas, and Kathy is here from North Carolina. We've got a lot of Kathys going on here this morning. Awesome. So number 6 is just 4 points. It is not a star I've used a whole lot. I'll be honest with you, but the more I look at it, the more I'm finding things I think I would like to try with it. And then we come to our final star is star number 7. And this star has 6 points. And when I look at this star, I think of an emergency vehicle symbol. I don't know why. It's just me. And of course, we all know I'm a little different. So, anyway, that's kind of what I see in there. Now, we're also going to take a look at the star tail. And this is star tail 1. Flip it over. On the star tails, you'll notice that I do have um, staple tape on both sides, and the star tail comes in 4 sizes. We're going to flip it a lot. Whether we do it on today's project or not is yet to be seen. But in real life, you will be flipping it. Awesome. Okay, let's take a look who's joining us. April is here. Okay, are you on a featherweight or a vintage singer? April, that's a really good question. And I am on a Singer 301. I have tried with the featherweight, but because the feed dogs don't drop on the featherweight, it makes it somewhat difficult. And the throat size on a featherweight is just so small, it's hard to maneuver the templates around. So I do have my Singer 301, which is my favorite machine for ruler quilting. Granted, the throw plate isn't as big as some of our new modern machines, but so far it's been very adequate for me. So I like that. It's just a good machine. Good morning, Lois. Lois is joining us from Delaware, and Valerie is here. Good morning, Valerie. Um, okay. Carla or Ava brings up a really good point. There is a cover for the feed dogs, okay, for a featherweight. Unfortunately, that cover, April, sits up off the machine. So what happens is when you're using your templates, they're rocking. And that makes it somewhat difficult to work. I have tried that cover, and I have also tried using a just a note card, with a recipe card on it. That's a little better, but if you've got the 301 or something else, I would say that would be my first choice. Okay. Valerie said, my mom's featherweight is here for looks and just for the same reason. Yeah, Valerie, actually, I do use my featherweight for piecing. I love it for piecing, especially when I am traveling. It really is a nice little machine to have along with me. Priscilla, good morning. And Cookie is here from a rainy Florida. Well, we are all ready to start going on this morning's project. And the first project that I'm going to do with you is to take, and this is part of the project I worked on last night. So I'm just going to add to it here because I didn't really stitch all that much. What we're going to do is we're going to take a look at a fill. And what I mean by that is I'm going to put a star here, and then I'm going to come down with a line and put another star here. And we're going to do some fill. Now, the reason I want to do this is because I want you to see how each star stitches out. That is important. All right. With these guys, I am going to start at the top. I am going to stitch half of this design. And let me show you what I mean by that. This is the easiest way I have found to make everything look perfectly symmetrical and no traveling. What do you think of that? Absolutely cool. No traveling, guys. I love it when you don't have to travel. And let's get that down there. Also have my computer set up a little differently this morning so that I can have a steady eye on it and we don't have a repeat of last night having the camera off center here. So one stitch in place. Now, when I come down on these are the important parts of the stars, is these little corners. And I call these hills or cliffs. And to me, the sharper they are, the more of a cliff they're going to make. So what I do is I slow down going around those. I'm going to have to release my foot just a little bit because I ran into a kind of a bulky seam here. There we go. Take one stitch when you hit that outside edge of that star. And what you're gonna notice, I do kind of move my template or my block around a little bit. And even when you're working on a big quilt, you can move it that much. It's not going to be difficult. I'm going to stop at the center line. Definitely with my needle down. Hi, Janice. Janice has got snow where she's at too. Definitely. Now what we can do is we can use this portion of the star, which is really nice because each of these is 1/4 of an inch. So I'm just going to come in here. I'm going to start at this first edged line and I'm going to stitch on down my straight line. And that assures that I'm nice and straight. This is star number 1. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab star number 2 and we're going to put it in. We're going to align it. Love the alignment marks on these. It's got this alignment horizontal, this alignment horizontal. And where that will fall is right where your needle will be. So it really makes it very nice and very convenient. Okay, my one stitch in place. Now this one has more cliffs, so we're going to have to take it nice and slow. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that right now. And around we're coming. Don't forget to take an extra stitch on that star point and take your time. You don't have to rush through this. And we're going to stop right in the center, needle down. Again, I'm going to make a straight line here, and I'm going to use my star template to do that. There we go. Now I'm going to come up with star 3 and go ahead and put it on. Remember, this is the skinny boy, okay? This is where I wish I weighed. All righty. Now we're going to have a bit of a bulky seam right here. Let's see how easy it's going to be for us to get over that. Oh goodness, that's not bad at all. You know, they're deceptive. Sometimes they really are easy to get over. Other times you think it's going to be easy, and it is definitely not. It kind of throws you for a loop. Okay, coming back up to the center line. Again, I'm going to go ahead and line myself up. I think I could get one more in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. So this is star number 3. And now this one that I didn't think would be a problem, just like I just said, is giving me a little grief. But that's okay. We just lift our foot a little tiny bit, and that's all we need to do. This guy, I think, star 4, to me is the most difficult one to do. Okay, I need to extend my line out here just a little bit. And here we go. Going to go ahead and check comments at this point too. Linda J says hi from Linda. Oh, so nice to see you. Linda is in a warm and windy Abu Dhabi this morning. She says, sorry for the late arrival. Linda, it's okay. We are working tonight with, or this morning, I'm sorry, with the Starry Night Star templates. Janice says she loves the Starry Night rulers, great for quilts, a Valor quilt. I never thought of that, Janice, but you're absolutely right. And Cactus Deb, our own Cactus Deb, said star 4 is her favorite. And this is star 4. So let's go ahead and put this on. Here we go. And now we're off and running. I have got an absolutely huge seam right here. So let's see how we can handle that. Okay, it's definitely going to hold us up. So I'm going to loosen my foot, lift it just a bit. I'll hold that, push that down with my stiletto and go over the top of it. Take that extra stitch out at the end here. And I'm going to pull this down just a little. It's easier to go from the high side to the low side of a heavy seam. Come around that cliff. Now I can go ahead and lower it to its proper height. And we're all set, and it came out just fine. Now this one we're going to do something just a little bit different on, because we are going to stitch the entire, well, I keep getting off. There we go. We're going to stitch the entire star this time. There we go. Got a little bit of a high side there, and definitely going to need to loosen my foot on this one. There we go. Easier to go from the high side to the low side, which that just was. Take our time, move around it. Stitch in place. And we're going to come back up to where we started. I got off just a little bit, not going to worry about it. I'm going to go ahead and adjust it. The only ones who will know is you and me. And right back up to the top. Okay, so this one we did a complete rotation. Hi, Di. Evelyn's here too. Good morning, Evelyn. Nice to see you as well. Okay, so now what we've got is we've got our half stars here. Okay, looks kind of goofy, but now we're going to go ahead and we're going to finish that off. So this was star number 4. So next we're going to go to star number 2, and I'm going to go ahead and stitch to the bottom here of this star. And we're going to stop right there. Now I'm going to put the template on. Oops, need to raise my needle just a bit. We are now, I want you to see this, we are now at the bottom of the star. So we have in essence only made half of it up till now. And so now we're going to go ahead and finish that off. I'm going to cut some threads here just so they're out of the way. There we go. Awesome. Okay, nice, placed up. You can always use your spacing gauge if you're unsure of how far you are. And this looks good to me. Looks real good. Okay, so here we go. One stitch in place to get going. Start off slowly. And I know some people like to stitch fast, and if that works for you, that's fine. Go ahead and stitch at a speed that you're happy with and that works for you. Sadly for me, stitching fast is not something I do well. I do tend to be a little on the slow side, but then again, where I live, everybody's on the slow side. And now we're going to come up and stop with our needle down. And that's number 3. Now we're going to put number 2 back on. And again, we are right in the center on the bottom, lining ourselves up. And we've got a kind of a high seam allowance here. So I'm going to just lift my foot up and get that under there and see if I need to go any further with that. And I don't. Sometimes that's all you need is to give it a little bit of encouragement. Now I've got a real heavy seam here, so I will go ahead and loosen my foot. Not enough. There we go. Nice and slow. Where the danger of skipped stitches lies is when you do have your foot a little on the high side. So that's why I tend to slow down a lot when I have that situation going on. It's always easier to go from the high side to the low side, like I'm doing right now, than it is to go from the low side to the high side. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and reset that foot. I'm going to come down again. Remember, this is star number 2. We're going to stitch back up to the bottom of star number 1. There we go. And now we're going to go ahead and put star number 1 in. Oh, you guys gotta see. This is hilarious. Valerie, I love your sense of humor. Absolutely precious. Valerie says, I'm retired, so turtle is my only speed. Oh, I love that. Oh, Suzanne, good morning from an icy Iowa. We had ice yesterday. Today we just have a blizzard. All righty. Now we're going to go ahead and we are going to finish our stitching on star number 1. Now, the reason that I'm doing this is twofold. One is I want to show you how you can use your star templates to make an edge-to-edge design, a filler design. And this is what I've done here. And I think it turns out great. And you can just use 1, you can use 2, you can use as many stars as you want for this. The reason that I'm doing it with all of these stars is because I want you to see how each one stitches out. And they do stitch out beautifully. Okay, so here's our star number 1. No, here's 1, 2, 3, and number 4. And you'll notice here, I got a little bit of a skipped stitch here. So when I come over here and I look, I'm not in a big fat seam allowance. So what this tells me is I did not lower my foot enough when I came around this off of this seam allowance right here. Okay. Does it happen? Well, yeah, it does. And you know what? I mean, we are just because I'm here to help you doesn't mean I'm immune to making mistakes. Okay. And that to me was something that I just was too slow on. All righty. And here is number 3. This one is Cactus Deb's favorite, just so you know. Here is number 3, which I call the skinny boy, number 2, and number 1. And these are from last night, guys. If you were with me last night, we did the artisan curve teardrop. So let's go ahead and make another row, pretending that we're actually doing a real quilt here, which we're not, but that's okay. We can pretend, right? So what I'm going to do next is we're going to do the rest of our templates. And what I want to do is I want my template on this one to fall here. I don't want them to be lined up like little tin soldiers. I want them to come down and be staggered. So what I need to do is I need to get my ruler and my marking pen. I've got my pen out here. I think I put my ruler away. No, I didn't. Why, that's not like me. There it is. Oh, goodness. I usually put things away too quickly. So what we've got here is this is a 2.5-inch motif when it is done. And you can tell that because here it starts and here it ends. So what I want to do is I want my next one to be centered here. All right, so I've got 3, it looks like 3 1/4 inches, including this. So half of 3 is 1 1/4 or 1 1/2, I'm sorry, and then we're going to add a couple eighths. So we actually are gonna come down 1 1/2 and 5/8 is going to be where that is, I can't see. There we go. It's going to be 2 and 5/8 inches. Okay, so 2 and 5/8 inches is where I want the center of my motif to be here at 2 and 5/8 inches. So what I need to do is I need to divide my 2 1/2 inches, which is what my template is. 2 1/2 inches needs to be divided by 2. So I want to come down 1 1/4 inches and I want to come up 1 1/4 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and put my ruler down here. 1 1/4 inches is where the top of my template should be. 1 1/4 inches is where the bottom. So my design is going to fall right in this area here. Okay? Any questions on that before we move on? Debbie says she likes the combo of hot air balloons from last night and stars today. Oh, good, Deb. I just woke up the right side of her brain. Isn't that awesome? I love it. That's what I live for, you guys. It really is. All righty. So I'm going to go ahead and I am going to put my needle down and pull my bobbin thread up here. And we are going to do the same process that we did before. Start with half of the star going in one direction and finish off the other half in the other direction. And like I said before, we do this, it's really nice. We don't have to travel. Isn't that great? I love not traveling. So this is Starry Night, star 5. I'm going to come down on the right side, come back on the left, and it doesn't matter. You can do either one. And what I want you to notice is right here, my marks came out perfectly, which doesn't happen often. I am not a perfect person, but they look so good. Now, these star tails or these star points are going to be kissing each other, and that's okay. And if you don't want them to, move your lines out a little further. I have these set up, I think, at 1 1/2 inches. Let me double check that. No, 2 inches. Okay. So I have them set at 2 inches. You may want to set them at 2 1/4 inches or even 2 1/2 inches. It's entirely up to you. And if you get them a little further out, what will happen is they won't touch each other. That's the only difference. So now we're going to go ahead and stitch down. And I'm going to, whoops, keep this one out because I'm not done with it. This star number 6 is it's different than all the rest. But like I said before, each one has its own personality, and I don't think there's one that I don't like. Again, taking it nice and easy over that cliff. Here we've got a seam allowance that's a little bit bulky. What first thing I'm going to try is to just lift up my foot so that that piece that goes under it is actually under the foot and not being pushed like this to the side. Okay. Once I opened up or once I lifted that foot, put it back down, it's stitched without any problem. And I do not have to adjust the foot height on my machine. And that is always a plus. Okay, we're going to stop with our needle down. We're going to go ahead and take this guy and we're going to stitch down here. Nice and easy. There we go. Now, if you're unsure about wanting to use this little space here, and I can't imagine anybody not because it's so handy and it's accurate, you could always go ahead and use your 12-inch arc. This is our star number 7. So what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and we are going to make this entire star because this is our last one. Nice and easy. For some reason, this thing is just slipping around on me a little bit here. And it could be that I have too hard of a grip on my template. Remember, you don't need a death grip on it. You just want it to be nice and steady, keeping it in one place. Oh my goodness, did I ever make a mess of that star tail? All right, that's why we practice, guys. Okay, so I've made the whole rotation on this one. I'm going to turn us around here. Looks like my camera got a little goofy there. There we go. Again, I'm going to use this channel to stitch back, and it will bring you right to the bottom point of the previous star, and that's going to be star number 6. And I need to pull it up just a little bit. No worries. Okay. You may need to do a little smooshing. Smooshing is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. And here we go, keeping nice and steady on that cliff. And I'm going to come back. I've got kind of a thick seam allowance there, but it sure didn't seem to mind it at all. The machine went over it beautifully. Going to come back here and down to the bottom of the first star that we put in. And that is going to be star number 5. See what we got. Okay. All right. Let's back up here and take a look at some of the questions and comments. Valerie says, "What type of marker are you using, and how does it remove after you are done?" Valerie, I am using a friction gel pen. I have found that this one just works best on this particular quilt that I'm using, because I like yesterday, right here, I used the Bohin white ceramic pencil. This comes off with heat. So what will happen when I am finished, I will go ahead and I will press this, and all of these marks will disappear. Word of caution. It is always best to put a couple layers of a starch or starch alternative, such as Best Press, on before you start marking, because these do tend to leave what's called a ghost shadow. The ghost shadow will wash out when the quilt is washed. If you are sending a quilt for competition or something like that, I would not use this marking pen or the fine liners, which is like a real small Sharpie. And the reason why is because if it goes in the hold of an airliner, it's going to get very, very cold. And when this gets very, very cold, the lines come back. So it would be a disaster for anyone to have sent a beautiful quilt in, have it opened up at the show or the competition, and the lines are there. So in that case, I would use something that's water erasable and won't come back. For me, this is good enough. This is good enough. Okay, Susie. Susie said the smallest stars are always the most difficult. I'm glad you brought that up, Susie, because you're absolutely right. The smaller they are, the more difficult they are to do. The key for me, when we first started doing the stars, the key for me was slow, 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 and practice, practice, practice. Oh, Kathleen says, what would happen if you mirrored the corner with the small templates? Could that be done or would it be too heavy? You know, Kathleen, that's a really good question. And I've never tried that, but I think it'd be worth exploring. So I think I'll go ahead and try it and see how it works out. Okay, great question. I wish I had a more definitive answer for you, Kathleen. And Kathy is here from Texas. Good morning, my friend. It's so good to see you. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're just going to go ahead and we're going to finish this particular one. And my favorite ones are the ones that have the star on the bottom. Uh, when I come in and have to do one of these here and here, I always get nervous about that. I don't know why. It's just me and one of my little quirks. Okay. So what's going on here is my foot is too high and my machine is skipping stitches like crazy. Okay, this is just a practice piece. I'm not going to worry about it. Don't forget to take that extra stitch coming around here. Now this is kind of a big bulky seam right here. So I'm just going to hold it down, see if I can, no, I'm going to have to adjust my foot, let it come up a little bit. If you're using a new fancy machine, your machine's going to do this automatically for you. I'm just a glutton for punishment with my 301. I love my 301. Okay, so let's go ahead and take this out and take a look at these stars and what they look like. All right, around we go. Look at that. You guys, we have so many stars available to us. Isn't that great? I love this. You know what? I think I'm beginning to, this is growing on me. I can see some uses for that. And you'll see here where I came off the template, no big deal. I would just go in and I would pull from here all the way around to here. And the reason I'm saying that is because it's going to be a lot easier to find your mark after the template's been taken off on the points than it is in the middle of a curve like this. So I think it would just be better to take this whole piece out here, put the template back on, and sew from point to point. Okay. Oh, Donna's here. And Diane is here too. Diane's here from Chicago. And Donna, as late as usual. Oh, Donna, it's okay. I don't take attendance. You guys have heard me say that before. So the next thing I want to show you is I was gonna try and do a little border, but time is getting away from us. I've got here 16 points. And what I am going to do is I am going to use star number 5, 2.5 inch, and I'm going to come out and do it like a spinifex. Okay? Let's see how that's going to work for us. I'm not going to do the whole block, just a portion of it. What's going to happen with this one, guys, is if you look right here, I have got a really, really thick seam. I'm going to make some adjustments here. There we go. Right here, I've got a very thick seam. So let's go ahead and work this baby. Now, with a thick seam, I'm looking at here is my high side, here is my low side. I want to go over the high side first. It's easier to go from the high side to the low side. The only problem with that is when we adjust our foot for the high side, and once we hit that low side, we have to readjust our foot immediately, or we're going to end up with skipped stitches. And whoops, I was going to pull that bobbin thread up. Okay. And down we go. All right, let's do this. One stitch in place so I don't end up with a toe catcher. And I'm going to go ahead and cut these threads off. Remember, when we do a spinifex or we do templates like a spinifex, what's going to happen is that is going to get locked in beautifully because we're going to be going over that center several times. So it's going to get those stitches very secure. All right, here we go. This is the part that's going to cause us a problem if we're going to have a problem. And I can no longer get in there comfortably. So what I did was I adjusted my foot a little bit and came up. Now I have to adjust it again because this is getting higher and higher or thicker and thicker as I go along. When I did this quilt, I did not have a tailor's clapper, and I now have one, and I'm going to be honest with you guys, to me, it is an essential tool. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and put that foot back down. And we're going to come around and we should be good for the rest of this template. So what a tailor's clapper does is it's a piece of wood, and when you use steam, whoops, needs to come down again. When you use steam and then apply the tailor's clapper to the seam that you're working on, it flattens it out beautifully. Absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so I'm going to use 8 rotations on this. That was number 1. And here we go with number 2. And what I love about doing this is the secondary designs that are created. They are awesome, beautiful designs. There we go. Just look at this one already. Isn't that cool? Okay, we've come to another thick seam. And this time I did not have to adjust my foot height yet. I still may have to down here, but so far I haven't. Oh, beautiful. There we go. All right. As I said, this is 8-point rotation. I got off here a little bit because I was looking to see if we had any questions. Okay. Let's take a look where we're at. Okay, Priscilla asked, is the discount supposed to work on all of these rulers or just certain ones? Priscilla, they will work on all of the stars, the sets. Okay. I know that some people went ahead and made orders last night and they worked without a hitch. If you look up at the top of the discussion, I did go ahead and put in links to the templates. Okay, so please use those links to get to the page that you can purchase them. I would appreciate that a whole lot. Okay, where are we now? All right. Oh, goodness, I need to get back down to where we're. Okay. Hey, good morning. She is here from Brandon, Florida. Deanna, deal day 20 will work. Yes. Yes. Um, Diane says she really likes using her clappers. I do too. Okay. No, this is interesting. Joyce says, I've used a clapper for years, but for garment sewing, I did start to use it with my latest quilt, and it does make a difference. It really does, Joyce. I think it's great that you're using that. Oh, Deanna's got a Northern Lights quilt going on. Hi, Alice from Colorado. Okay, miss the amount of discount. Kathleen, it's 20%. And what you want to type in on the coupon code, and I'm going to type it in here for you right now. Well, if I can type, deal day 20. And that is the coupon code. Okay. Okay. Um, okay, Priscilla, what I'd like you to do is give me a call um, after we're done here, and we'll work with that. Here's my number. You can also find it on the instructors page on the So Steady site. Okay, clappers work with just the dry heat too. Okay, that's good to know, Priscilla. Okay, that's real good to know. All right. Oh, Linda has her mom's. Hi, Jean. Jean's here from Mount Vernon, Washington. Good to see you. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue this on here. All right. Now, this is not how these templates were intended to be used, but that's okay. We can do what we want with them. And I do like to do things that are different. I like to do things in ways other than what they are intended to be done. And we're going to come down. And I'm just going to make one more. I just came off again. So sorry about that. And back to the center. going to go ahead and turn it, and one more, and then we're gonna take a look at this. And then I have one more thing I wanna show you. Now, what I like about doing this is to do it with a template because there's so many different options available to us for cutting out these designs. Anytime we can template something is a good day as far as I'm concerned. All right, there we go. And there we go. Just a really kind of cool design, very different from what you would expect out of the stars. And here it is. And you'll see, I did come off here a couple of times because I wasn't paying attention to my seam allowances. But we can definitely make this work. Now, next one. What I want to do is I want to show you how we can do a star tail with this. Okay, let me get my ruler out right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come out and make some marks. And I'm going to come out at 4 inches. Right there, 4 inches. Right there, 4 inches here, and 4 inches here. Okay, and I'll do one more. Okay, here we go. Donna says, I think I like this use of the stars better than the designs they were intended for. Well, thank you, Donna. What, the Starry Night quilt is to me one of the prettiest quilts. And I have made it, I think 4 times now. Truthfully, I never get bored with it. I really just love it that much. Okay, here we go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out a smaller star, and it's going to be a smaller star number 1, and I think it's going to be the 2-inch. Yeah, let's do the 2-inch. Okay. And we are going to also pull out our coordinating 2-inch star tail. No, you can use a smaller star tail. Let's go ahead and use the smaller one just because I said we can. Okay, there we go. There we go. What I'm going to do is I am going to set this up so that I am going to come out using my spacing gauge. Yeah, come in just a hair. Here we go. Pull my bobbin thread up. Well, I think I'm going to pull my bobbin thread up. There it is. And put my foot back down and put my needle back in. And I need to adjust my foot just a little bit. That happens, especially with these old machines. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make a portion of my star. Needle down. I'm going to go ahead and take this part out. Now I am going to place the star tail in. Now the star tail can be done in many ways. Oops. It can come out like this, which is not really my favorite. I like it best to come out like this. And the reason why is because then it looks like a shooting star. So I'm going to go ahead. This is definitely a template that you want staple tape on both sides. So here we go. And this is a very easy template to stitch. It's got nice soft curves. And what you want to do is you want to make sure that you've got a little shorter stitch length with the curves. And right back to the beginning, put our star back on, line everything up again. Perfect. Now, I can make just a little bit of an adjustment there, and I think that will work better. Oh, yeah, much better. And up and around that cliff, we're coming up on a heavier seam allowance here. Whoops. Okay, so I'm going to lift my foot. And I did not have to adjust it. There we go. Now, I want to come back down here. Actually, no, I'm not going to. Okay. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take my 12-inch arc right here. And I'm just going to use my 12-inch arc and come over to the next line. There we go. Now, this should, should line up and work, and it didn't, but that's okay. I'm going to have my star coming down a little lower on this one, which actually is a good thing because what you're going to see is it's not going to impinge on the next star or the previous star. And what would have made this work a little better for me is if I had marked where I want my star to begin. So what I'm going to do, this is a 2-inch star. So there we go. I want there to there to be 2 inches. So I want this right here to be 1.5. So I'm going to come in at 1.5 inches. Go ahead and make a mark there. get my 12-inch arc out again, use my spacing gauge, and come to the next reference line. And there we go. Now, if you did the Starry Night, you also have the star connector, and the star connector will work just as well. And I'm getting off a little bit here. My fabric is having a heyday with the camera. All right, now this one, I want my star tail to come from the top. And I'm going to have it come almost straight up and down. And what I'm showing you here is some of the different ways that you can adjust the angle of the star tail. There we go. And how different it's going to look. There we go. I need to pull that up. Okay. And whoa, I felt that happen, guys. Okay. Let's see. Donna Banning says 4 times. She hasn't done one yet. She has the fabric, but no time. Yeah, I get that. The reason that I have done it is because I taught it that many times, Donna. Definitely. Uh, Too many distractions for Susie to finish hers. Oh, you guys are funny. However, it is a fun quilt, I think. I think Leonie West is an absolute genius. I'd love to spend a day in her brain. Okay, need to back up here because my foot just popped up. I come around and around. The more you practice these, the better you're going to get at them. I need to adjust my foot. And up to the top again. All right. So these are just a couple of ways that we can put those star tails on. If you want a shooting star coming, it would look nice like this. And it also looks nice coming off the tip. Now, one thing that you should know, it doesn't have to come off the tip. It could come off of this curve right here as well. And you can put a bigger star tail on a smaller star or vice versa. It really, truly is up to you which way you want that to look. So that is some ideas with our Starry Night stars. 7 sets of stars, guys. 7 sets of stars. Isn't that awesome? I appreciate you being here. Let's see if we have any other questions I haven't answered. And don't be afraid to call me if you have questions. My information is on SewSteady.com under instructors. You'll find my email address, my phone number, and I don't always get emails answered the same day. Sometimes it takes me a day or so because I do get a lot. And if you call and I answer, That's a good thing. If I don't, I will call you back. Okay? So if we don't have any more questions, don't forget, like, subscribe, and share. And we will see you next week. Have a great time. For those of you who are in the snow belt, stay home, stay safe. And till we meet again, let's quilt.